It is Leonard Kamna. It is Leonard Kamna. Who, by the way, this year is going to have a go, maybe, at being a backup in terms of general classification at one of the Grand Tours as well. Keep an eye on him. Here's the old town of Poyensa. Beautiful town in the centre if you get a chance to visit. Less touristy down than on the coast as well.
A lot of steps in that town, isn't there?
Plenty of old steps and old streets.
There's my bit of knowledge about that place. A lot of steps.
You get the History Channel calling you up after this.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
Now, if 1 minute and 52 is correct, then this is... You're almost calling it, aren't you? Chasing here is Ilan van Wilder. Just behind him, another of his teammates who was Louis Vervaeke, and according to the graphic is still Louis Vervaeke, and Leonard Kamna. No idea at the minute as to where Hugh Carthy is. He was chasing. We might be able to get a look back here, but given the weather, I'm not sure we'll see much.
No, I don't think we'll see much. We might. I think Hugh Carthy's just in that middle bit of ground where he's in no man's land at the minute, just holding the speed of these guys and probably holding the speed of the peloton in front. But Kamna, very good ride for him to jump across to these two. The two in front, the two quick-step riders, are happy to share the work, not really pushing on too much. You can see him there just trying to get Kamna to come through, but for the Soudal quick-step riders, they're happy at the minute just to keep pulling through. I'll be interested to see if Kamna comes through and pulls the turn, because ultimately this is quite good news for him at the minute, getting a free ride down to the last climb of Formentor.
What's going to be left in the legs for the final 3 kilometres here for Kobe Goossens? Or with a gap like this, does it matter?
Definitely matters. It definitely matters. If he goes too hard before the bottom of this climb, he can go very slowly up it. But for him now, he's just got to, he knows his effort, he'll know what he has to do, he'll know, be able to see what's his heart rate, he'll be able to feel how he's going. So it's just a case of making sure he can sustain this effort as well on the climb, sustain the heart rate, sustain the power that he's doing on the climb all the way up to the finish line. He doesn't want peaks, he doesn't want to go too hard now and then it drop his power on the climb. He wants to keep it right up there, and if not anything, be able to save a little something back if it does get close to the time gap so he can accelerate. But there's only one way this time gap's going at the minute, Rob, and that is out.
That's a big distance to out the Brooks. We look back.
Woo.
And yes. Wow. This is Goossens' race to throw away.
Yeah, it definitely is. And he's, I mean, fair play to him doing this on that descent. We spoke about how he might be able to hang on maybe 40, 50 seconds, see what chance he had. But at the minute, he's got a fantastic chance. And I actually forgot, Kamna's got a teammate in the middle, hence why he's not riding.
7.5 kilometres to go. You're looking at Vervaeke, Van Wilder and Kamna. Just above, ahead of them, around, you'd say at least a minute ahead at the moment, is Kian de Brooks. And 1 minute 58 seconds ahead of this lot, as we see Hugh Carthy coming along.
Go on, Hugh
He's the
Carthy.
leader, Kobe Goossens. Hugh Carthy's, well, he's enjoying this road, isn't he, in the last couple of days, because he was flying down this road yesterday, bringing things back and helping set up the start of the lead-out for the eventual winner, Marijn van den Berg. And today, on a day that he could win with this final climb, he's getting himself in a position at least to take a very good placing. The man in the lead, Kobe Goossens, 26 years of age, has never won a professional bike race. He's been pro for the last 3 seasons now. It's his second year at Intermarché, and he has a great record in these races in Mallorca, Adam. Last year, in the 3 climby races, he was top 10. This particular race was ridden in reverse last time, so they started in Poyensa, and they finished in Andratx. He finished up there in the top 10 again. On the opening day in Calvià, he was 7th. As we re-see the moment that Hugh Carthy got to the front.
I think he's just gone back for a bottle there. I think his team car or neutral service car might have come up to assist him and give him a little bit of something or other. But look at the panic behind. You've got one of the UAE riders, an Arkea rider, Movistar coming to the front. Alaphilippe still sat pretty there, just biding his time, waiting, but this could all be a little too late for the Soudal Quick-Step riders.
It could be Alaf's asleep, because he might not need to be awake climbing this today, because the race will be done by he gets
intentional. There. Very good, Rob. Thanks for saving me then.
5.5 Ks to go. Just on the outskirts of Port de Pollença, the northwest of Mallorca.
Impressive ride, this. Very impressive.
Very impressive. Again, absolutely sensational. Goossens.
There's
He's made a nice steady progression, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, there's confident descending where you can save energy, get a bit of a gap, wait for the rider at the bottom, but this is not what I was expecting from him in terms of, I thought when he'd get down onto this valley road, we'd see that gap start to tick down to maybe a minute, but as we've said, it's only gone one way. It's only gone up. Peloton almost catching those 3-4 riders now with Hugh Carthy, and there they are just behind, so they are coming back together, but as we said, it might be a little bit too late to catch the man out in front.
Well, Goossens is still well ahead of Uittebrooks, as we saw there from that overhead shot. See the bosses parked down the bottom of the climb here. It's not a big transfer for the riders tonight. They're just up the road in Alcudia. 10 minutes away from here. It will be a celebratory journey for this man if he can hold to his lead. We've just got an update now. 1:47. Does he have enough left in the legs? Well, we're about to find out, because he begins the climb in just over a kilometre's time. He's told of his advantage. In fact, there, he's told 1 minute. Oh, dear. Well, maybe the television graphics are out of kilter.
Come on.
I'm sure that sign just said 1 minute. It was a very strange two otherwise.
He's still done a brilliant ride, regardless. Regardless. But 2 minutes, as I said, for that gap to keep going out, fantastic ride. But it is quite surprising that he's able to stay away from a chasing peloton, 4 chasing riders behind. Well, but still, a minute, Rob, a minute at the bottom of that climb, it's still doable. It just depends how quickly this peloton does go up it, but still a fantastic ride.
Well, let's hope that the sports directors in the car are listening to the race radio, where they'll be getting those correct time gaps, as opposed to watching us on the telly, and we're being told that it's 2 minutes and 3 seconds when the chalkboard has just said 1 minute. Let's see what happens. We're about to start the climb, and this is Goossens in front of possibly the ride of his life. An opportunity to win a professional bike race against the likes of former world champion Alaphilippe, new star Girmay, and all the rest in the peloton today.
Yeah, this is officially the bottom of the climb. That is where the KOM starts. He's got about 7.5 minutes, 8 minutes of effort left before he crosses that finish line. As I said, I think my guesstimation for roughly how much time he needed was around 1 minute at the bottom of this climb, and even if it is 1 minute something or just a minute, I'd like to think he'll be able to hang on.
Adam, what's this climb like?
Fast, with a tailwind. It's fairly gradual. The first 2 corners, a couple of hairpins, and then it sort of eases into it. There's a middle section which kicks up a little bit and then flattens off, and then just before the top, the last few hairpins, the road almost, it doesn't bank, but you can use, like, it's almost like a banking in between 2 corners, so you can use the road to cut the corner and keep the speed up quite nicely. So it's a fast climb, a very fast climb indeed.
The race leader, we think, is a minute ahead. That's the time that he's just been given. This is the peloton chasing on. We're getting 2 minutes on the screen, so you can guess maybe it's something in between that. Warren Barguil at the front for Arkea Sam6, just trying to race as much as he can. And look at Mikkel Bjerg. He's back from the cramp, and he's racing again at the front. Remember that Kion Uittebrooks is still somewhere in the middle of Goossens, the race leader, and what's left of the peloton here. And Goossens, alongside Uittebrooks, are now on the final climb. Goossens is 2.1 kilometres from the finish line at the Mirador on the way to Formentor. This looks like he has it in the bag, Adam.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got into this in the bag. I think our time that we've got on the TV is quite accurate. They've not even got onto the bottom slopes of this climb yet. They're almost there, but we didn't see them go around that roundabout. They're still coming into that roundabout. They'll probably be around it now, but they're at least a minute and 40, minute and 45 behind, maybe a minute and a half, and this man's probably only got 5 minutes left, if that, of effort before he gets to the top. So, to me, he looks safe.
Here's the hairpins that you were talking about.
Yeah, these are the first couple of hairpins. There's Goossens up there, the second rider on the road. ዓwtu Trofeo is just behind, not even at the first hairpin yet, and the peloton is still behind him, so he's comfortable. They are on the bottom of the climb now, but not round that first hairpin yet.
I'll tell you what, the more I look at this, the more I think, as you were just saying, that the time that we're being shown is more or less right. It's certainly more than the 1 minute that he was rather cruelly told there, Goossens, by the motorbike outrider. It says 1:32 now, but he's riding away to victory here. 2 Ks to go, and Goossens is putting on a real show.
Yeah, he's got this in the bag. There's no way that they're bringing all that distance back in 2 kilometres. They'd have to ride up there at a massive speed. But yeah, it looks to me fairly safe that Goossens at the minute, if it comes down to the line, I still think he'll win it by 15, 20 seconds. But the way that he's judged his effort, the way that he's been going, from what we've seen, from when the telepictures came on, he's not slowed down, he's not massively sped up, he's just kept it nice and consistent all the way down that valley, always looking smooth. The peloton not far away from catching ዓwtu Trofeo.
It's been a sensational ride. Let's have a look to see if we can see ዓwtu Trofeo. And it's going to be a big result for him, whatever happens as well.
If he can hold on, which I don't think he can, to that second place. That peloton is breathing down his neck right now.
Well, Goossens got across from the peloton with 67 kilometres to go. He's got a minute now on the man who came across with him, ዓwtu Trofeo. And he's in the form of his life. Flemish rider who's never won a race. He's had to wait to Flemish weather to win in Mallorca. Now, ዓwtu Trofeo on his way to being caught. It might not be his best result today, but he's certainly put in a good ride and something that he'll learn from. Certainly, I think you spotted straight away, Adam, you know, the lefts and the rights, the corners, things like that, just wasn't his thing on that descent, was it?
No, and it's hard to train. You can train going downhill on a descent quite easily. You just have to do more descents and try to follow quicker riders. But in the wet, it's very difficult to do so because, number one, you rarely climb up into the mountains when it's cold because the risk of getting sick, etc. But he'll get that. The more racing he does, he's still a young lad. The more racing he does, the more confidence he'll get from that. So he's still got a long career ahead of him and a bright future, judging on today's efforts that he's made and his ride.
Winner of the Tour de l'Avenir last year, 19 years of age. He's trying to hang on, he's looking back, but look at all this open road behind Goossens. He's been close in the Giro d'Italia before from the breakaway, but he's riding away into the final kilometre here. What were you going to say, Adam?
I don't think this peloton... It doesn't look like they might catch ዓwtu Trofeo here. They're and ahhing. There's not really that 1-2 riders on the front that's really stringing it out. You can see them bunched up, and as we spoke about the headwind, there's a headwind on this climb, and that's why all the riders are behind, not in one line, not strung out. It's a little bit easier behind. So for me, I don't think that Quick-Step Ifervalnil quite have enough riders yet. But look at that gap, 1:26. It is coming down. He looks like he's judged his effort to perfection, just under the last kilometre.
The Brooks still going, still fighting, still riding. 2 young riders, one reaching maturity at the front, another showing what is to come in the next few years. You're right, Adam, they're not gaining on him at all, are they?
No, not at all. And we've got Hugh Carthy there, the big tall rider from EF. Let's not forget he had to ride across to those 3 riders in front, so that was a big effort for him to do so, and he's still just sat within there as well. Hugh, obviously a very, very good climber indeed, but I think if it was to really light up here, we might not see Hugh unless he's on exceptional form. He is on good form, obviously. But you'd think after making that effort, He'd have been dropped by now. One of the Arkea Samsic riders on the attack now, followed by one of the Movistar riders.
Keep your eyes on how that plays behind. Lotto Destiny in the chase as well. The Brooks starting to see that advantage go away as this man's vantage isn't changing. You have to look a long way down this hill to see anybody else. It's all about Kobe Goossens. Said it was like watching the Harlem Globetrotters before with this exhibition performance. He was named after a basketball player, and Kobe is going to be the king of the Mirador des Coulommiers.
This climb here, I think, is tricking a few people. As I said, sitting on the wheels, getting that sort of shelter, that free ride up here into the headwind. As soon as they go onto the attack, they're like, oh, this is a lot harder than it is sat on the wheels there. But three riders coming to Arkea Samsic, Lotto Destiny. Oh, the bird must be 8 riders.
Louis Barret in the red there from Arkea Samsic, the man from Lotto Destiny, I think might have been the Kent.
Last couple of corners now for Goossens.
In fact, no, it's not yet at all. There's a few riders up here following on. Rider from Burgos PH, who've had their first season win today, by the way, down at the Tropicala Misabongo. But after 4 hours and 6 minutes of racing, finally some hint of a smile on a tortured face. He's tortured himself. He's put himself through a brand new pain barrier today as Kobe Goossens, and he is on his way to getting his reward. They look on behind, they chase on behind. The Brooks, left-hand side. This is that second group at the minute fighting it out for places. Goossens just up the road here. Can't be far from the finish line now. It's a torturous final kilometre, and Barret has gone for it from Arkea Samsic. Here's the man we're all waiting to see cross the line, though. It's been a long time waiting. A 4th professional year. He's been in breakaways in Grand Tours, but here he is at the start of the season, raising his arm for the first time. And it's 2 wins in 3 days for Intermarché, the first of a professional career for Kobe Goossens from Leuven in Belgium. He's done it in Belgian weather at the top of a mountain in Mallorca. And now it's time for the rest to play out for the minor placings. The attacks come and go. They fight each other. This looks like one of the riders from Burgos PH who's out there to try and take what will be a superb second place for them. It is the rider from Burgos who takes it. Lotto Destiny with the rider in 3rd. Bardiani with the rider in 4th. And they finish at just over 40 seconds from the race winner, who is Kobe Goossens. That's a sensational ride. Attacking from almost 70 kilometres to go from the peloton. Bridging to the breakaway, leaving those behind in his wake on the descent, and carrying it home with quite the gap. Take your hat off, because Kobe Goossens is going to be somebody who riders may have a different opinion about now, Adam, after that.
What a ride. Using the weather to his advantage. Doing a lot of climbing, descending like a demon.
But Kobe Goossens, he wins, beating Pelayo Sanchez with Lennart van Eetveld, who was the rider we saw attacking from Lotto Destiny we failed to identify. Alessio Martinelli there for Green Team Bardiani. A brilliant 5th place for Roger Adrià, the Catalan rider from Kern Pharma. Barceló, Barret, Serrano, Buchmann and Van Daal all completing the top 10.